Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. Today is Thursday, June 24th. I hope you all had a good week, a good weekend. This past weekend, lots of fun. It was Father's Day this past weekend. If you have a father and you're connecting with him and you spent time with him, it's one of the better days. My favorite days actually is just, spending time with your dad. Somebody you love. I love Mother's Day too and all that, but it's just like, I don't know, for me with my father, seeing him become more and more of like looking like a dad during the weekend is just, it puts a smile on my face. I don't know what it is, but like when your dad becomes more and more the stereotypical dad, just embodying it now, like, the casual wear, the kind of dry humor, the over-exaggerated excitedness, sometimes just the pure smile on whatever you say, just like jumping for joy and laughing at things that you say that make him laugh. That type of thing, the just the corniness of it, it is really just kind of amazing to see how that progression is, because not just with my dad, it's like with everybody's dad that's ever existed. I think it just naturally happens. Like whatever happens to a man, that when they have kids and all that, they have a job and all that, they get older and older. Like the neediness to look cool and to be like, I don't know how else you would say it, but like just like the swaggerness of a man's personality, just when they become a dad, just shifts. And the more and more you get older, the more you spend time with your kids, the more and more of that dad personality and that more and more of that dad image just keeps showing out. And it's so fun to be around because you can joke with them, you can talk about them with pretty much anything. You could and it's always a good time. So we had Father's Day dinner. We had or lunch, I would say. We had a seafood boil, which, in my opinion, around here in California, Central Valley, California, if you can find a good place that actually, I've never been to Louisiana or whatever, the Bayou area, but in my opinion, this seafood boil is this food around here. I've been to one in Fresno and then one in LA, and just I love the flavors, I love the taste, I love the seafood. The way they cook it anyway, just boiling it and getting all the juices in there. It's really delicious. And what I've noticed is that they've kind of been skimming out on some of these tools they use to eat the food. Because like if you order like a crab or a lobster or like something else, you would need like some kind of tool to break apart the crab legs and get the crab meat. Now I remember when we first used to go there, they would give you like pliers, crackers, little metal picks that you would use to like scrape out some meat. Now they give you some scissors, which in my opinion are the best, because you can just kind of slide them in the crab shell, long where the claws are on the legs, and just kind of snip your way through and just pull the meat out like that. It's so easy. It's life changing. It really is. You don't have to like use your hand to just break them in half and just kind of like split them and just like pick out the meat like that. Because depending on the crab that you can get like king crab, which is like the really pokey crab. I mean that it's good. It tastes amazing, especially when you got like a little bit of lemon juice and some salt. But it's also like you got to be careful with the pokies, because I've had a couple times like I try to break it or my finger slips or whatever, and I just get like a big old, like, not a gash, but like a little bit of a poke where it draws some blood. That's never a good sign. And it's always kind of like a bar, like when you think about seafood boil, you gotta like kind of like picture what are you gonna look like at your messiest when you're eating food. Like you're gonna be messy. There's no way around it. If you have a problem with like going out to public places and eating food and looking like you're, kind of what's the word I can say? A bit of an animal. Like if you're comfortable with looking like an animal and looking like a beast, like just devouring some food and, just not a care in the world, then you'll love seafood boil. You will love it. But if you're not comfortable with that, if you like being tidy, if you like having manners, if you like not having food on your face or on your hands or whatever, then this is not the place for you. It's just not the place for you, because that is the entire part of the food, the meal, the experience is just eating with your hands. This amazing seafood boil with a spicy. And it's not just seafood. You can get like some potatoes, some sausage, corn on the cob, shrimps. Oh my god, the shrimps there are amazing. You can order them like with two different ways, with the head on or with the head off. And we usually go with the head on because one, it's cheaper, and two, I just feel like it's more of if the right way to eat a seafood boil. Like you rip that head off that shrimp and just devour it like that. You don't want to take away the experience with the seafood boil. You want to keep it as it was meant to be, as close as you can, because the more you kind of diverge and do it a little in different ways and different methods and different I don't know, just ways to eating the food, you just kind of take it like, I don't know, you strip it down to what it is. Like, how would California eat this food? How would we make it easier for these people to eat the food like that they've been eating down in Louisiana for like this for many decades? Like, I would just never want to freaking strip it away from that, because I don't want to make it that much worse. Let's say if somebody from Louisiana or the South came by and said, like, let's check out the seafood place, seafood boil, let's try this out. How do they do it? And if we're just serving like little shrimps without the heads on, everything's already pre-cut and pre-cooked and all that, you don't even have like the full hand experience. Now, I'm not saying that what I've been experiencing is the full Louisiana Bayou way how to do it, but I'm just assuming that it's close enough. I think I would say, but cannot keep that away. Got to keep that. You got to be willing also to kind of spend a little bit more money, because they serve it in pounds. So you gotta be like, okay, I want a pound of this, pound of that, and maybe half a pound of that, and that's about it. And it's also really expensive too. You gotta be careful, because, listen, like if you want a pound of king crab or 2 pounds of king crab, it's gonna set you back some, because that is just some expensive fish right there, or crustacean. But it's really, really good. So you just gotta be careful, because it does accumulate a lot when you're not just like, okay, pound of this, pound of that, pound of this, pound of that. You gotta be careful with that, because if you're not, it's just gonna go up and up and up. The best place that I've had is the Boiling Crab, and that's in LA. It's also got some of the best catfish I've ever had personally, like flaky, crispy, meaty. It's the catfish itself is just delicious. And it might be like, my mother makes catfish too, like, for like Lent and stuff like that. But this one is just like, I've never had one that tasted this good before. I mean, it is so meaty. It is so flavorful. The batter on it is just, fried to perfection. And it's so like, it's nice and warm. And like, if you're a big fan of catfish, you got to get that on the side, because they do it there so well. And like, again, one of the best catfish I've ever had. And I've always been kind of like an outsider on fish for a while. Then I kind of like brought into like sushi and all that, and I enjoyed a good Las Vegas roll. If you don't know what that is, like, it's like fried crab. I think they're fried, and they got like this rice, obviously, some crab, a little bit of avocado, I think, and some seaweed. But it's just the flavors in sushi, and the fish flavors, like along with the sauces like wasabi, chipotle mayo, whatever you want, this soy sauce and all that. It's just a nice burst of flavor. And I got to be honest with you, the first time I tried it, seen it, was at like a kind of like a local restaurant around where I live, but it's not like a major one. Like, it's not like a big one where a lot of people go and sit down and dine. They usually just like go there to get takeout, usually, from what I've seen. So I was kind of concerned about that, because like, all right, well, I mean, like, I know that sushi is like kind of sounds like a more high-end type of, food to me, but it was like, do we got to go to like a nice sushi restaurant to really get like the cream of the crop of sushi? But like, it wasn't that bad. And then I went to LA like maybe 2 years ago, and I got like a big platter of like, I think it was Philadelphia. That one had like cream cheese in it, and that was delicious too. But my dad, he ordered like a big plate that had like tuna, yellowtail, dragon something, and those were all delicious. because they give you like this soy sauce and some ginger and then some wasabi, and the combinations of those alone don't taste very good. Soy sauce is okay, but ginger, like wasabi, I would not just eat by themselves. I mean, that's just personally me. But adding those all together with the flavors of the sushi roll is just really, really good. And it's also kind of refreshing. It's not like a fatty, deep fried thing. It's not like a super high in calorie type thing. It's not a very heavy meat per se. I mean, it is fish, so it's not like super heavy. And the rice is like not overpowering. And if you just can just get it right, the flavors on that are just, it's so nice and delicate, and just it melts in your mouth, and it's not like super hot. It's more on the colder side, but it's just like that all goes away because it just tastes so good and it's so light, and you can just keep on eating something. Like, obviously, like, you don't want to eat too much fish intake, depending on, like, tuna is not very good. You can't like consume so much tuna. That's not a very good thing for you. But like, you just gotta take it within moderation. Go out, have some sushi. I guarantee, like, if you're not a big sushi fan or big fish fan, say like you grew up like eating, like, I don't know, fish sticks. Like, obviously, like, you're not gonna be a big fan of that. Or obviously, like, if you have like canned tuna, like, I like canned tuna, but a lot of people that I know, or some people that I know, do not like tuna at all or fish at all. So like, give it a shot. Give it a shot. I would recommend it. Along with seafood boil, very good different types of food that maybe if you're from California, Central Valley type of place, that those places are kind of like not as popular. I would say I would definitely say that sushi is more popular than seafood boil, but those are some of like the more like out of the box type of restaurants or food types that you can just go out and try and see how it is. I personally like them both, but I would probably give it the edge to, I don't know, maybe seafood boil, just because of the flavors, man. The Cajun spices and the Cajun flavors, the spice to it, along with the dipping sauce of like the lemon juice, pepper, and salt, is just really, really good. I mean, like, that's a more of an American thing, but again, I would not turn my back on some sushi ever. Like, it's just really, really good. And also some, like, I was also kind of new to, like, I remember, like, back in the day when I first heard of teppanyaki, I was like, what the hell is that? Like, what is it? They just cook in front of you? Like, what kind of food is it? Is it Japanese food? I'm like, okay, before that, I never had Japanese food. Like, I never ever had Japanese food. I just had Chinese food. You go to like the local Chinese restaurant and get just like, the typical, I guess you could say, like, super American type of food, like chow mein, fried rice, white rice, orange chicken. I had that, but again, this is before I had teppanyaki and all that. Maybe some fried rice and all that. But when I had teppanyaki for the first time, I got the steak one, and it's just like, it's a New York strip steak sliced up, made like some like kind of like cubes, and they give you some side of vegetables and like some rice, fried rice that which is like delicious. It's got bacon and eggs in it. It's cooked so well, and they give you a big portion, and it's good tasting food. But that's not the best part of that experience. The best part is when they give you the hot sauce, or like the sweet and the spicy sauce. It's like this. They get like this kind of like paste thing, and like give you like some kind of like hot chili oil, and they kind of mix it together, and it becomes like this pasty, saucy type of thing. And you mix it in with your rice. You use it as a dipping sauce for your meats and your vegetables, and it just elevates the meal so much. I don't know what what exactly is in it, but it tastes so damn good. Like, you want to just, take a bath in it. That would be bad for you, but like, it tastes so good, and it just enhances the meal by a mile. It's just like amazing. Like, whenever I go eat teppanyaki, it's like I can eat pretty much everything without the sauce, but adding the sauce to everything else just makes the meal that much better. That much better. And before that, when I first tried it, I'm like, I didn't need the sauce on the rice, because the rice already tasted amazing without it. Like, again, it was like one of the best fried rice I've ever had. It was just so good. And like, normally, like, I'm just like, kind of like, it's rice. I mean, I'm Mexican. I grew up with rice. How good could it be? Like, really? But it was like, this rice was just fantastic. It's amazing. But it's like, if I were to pick again between that, if you had the teppanyaki, seafood, and then sushi, I think I would pick teppanyaki. It's like a guilty pleasure meal, though. You can't have it too many times because, you have it too much. It's like kind of like the same thing, and it's like it's good tasting, but that can be like with any food, really. Like I can't really go that long with eating like I don't know a nice burrito from like a taqueria or whatever. Like I get tired of it. I'll just be like, it's just the same thing over and over again. Like, you just got to be careful if you're me, like, who consumes a lot of food. Like, you just got to be careful. Like, okay, I went there last week and there the week before. I can't do that because I'm going to get tired of it. You don't want to get tired of it. That's, like, always one of the, like, big things with me is, like, in food is, like, I don't want to get tired of it, but I just want to keep eating it. But I know that I'll get tired of it, but I also just keep eating it. It's such a weird thing. Like wings, for instance. Like I'm a big wing guy. Like I love Buffalo Wild Wings, and I love like you can go to the store and buy some wings and put them in the oven and cook them up. I've even made homemade hot wings. They're really good. Like you just buy them from Costco, like a big bag of wings and all that. Just fry them up or cook them like a barbecue or whatever, and then sauce them up, and then just there they go. It's like right there. And those are the best tasting ones to me. Is homemade, but I wanted to bring up wings, not just for a talking point of like how much you love wings and how much like I enjoy the traditional wing and just despise the boneless wing because I mean obviously why would you not? Why would you get a boneless wing when you can get an actual traditional wing? Like I don't want to hear like it's too much more work, it's too messy. Bro, the flavor of a boneless wing is not even comparable to the flavor of a traditional wing. It is just not even comparable. Like the taste from a boneless wing just tastes like a chicken nugget. It's just not as good. A traditional wing has all the flavor of that bone, the flavor of the sauce. It just feels the meat is more higher quality. Everything about a boneless wing is just subpar in a lower tier compared to a traditional wing. Everything about it. Anyway, I'm just saying that because I got friends that have like boneless wings. Friends are like traditional. I'm more of a traditional guy with the wings thing. So like whenever I see like boneless wings being consumed, I'm like, oh my god, how could you actually eat that and say like, oh, this is good? And especially if you get like a dry rub on your wings, like, oh my god, that is so gross in my opinion. Like a dry rub, all that just that the dust on your nugget is like. Why would I need the sauce, man. I want that flavor in a moist sauce so it doesn't go down as dry as the dust would. The dry rub, I would just prefer that. But anyways, wings are in the news this past week because Wingstop is experiencing a shortage in chicken wings, and not just them, but like the country is kind of experiencing a shortage of chicken wings. So they've decided to become like a thigh stop instead of a Wingstop for a while because now they're selling chicken thighs, glazed in their spices, their sauces. And I gotta say, I wouldn't be. I'm not saying that I would buy it or get them, but I wouldn't be so sure to doubt it because it kind of looks good. They kind of look good. I mean, like, I'm a big thigh guy. I mean, I like thighs. I like chicken in general. But, like, listen, if you can put, like, a buffalo sauce that you use for wings on a chicken thigh and make it appetizing and cook it right, I mean, that's going to be delicious. I mean, like, because, okay, when do I usually eat chicken thighs? When I make them, just like in the oven or whatever on the grill. But I don't usually, like, sauce them up like a wing would, like I would with a wing. But now, if you can get them sauced up like a wing from Wingstop, I mean, I don't see how this wouldn't be a good thing. It sounds like a great thing. And it's like, it would obviously cost more money, but you'd be getting more meat for the order. Like, it'd be getting more chicken, and the wing and the thigh are both dark meat, so it's like you're just getting a giant wing basically, or just a thigh. So I'm all in for this. I mean, like, I wouldn't order a Wingstop because like I don't really care for the taste of their actual wings. Again, I'm a Buffalo Wild Wings guy, but I would try it out, but I would also be kind of hesitant about it because it is Wingstop. I'm not the biggest fan, but you can only get them online through their app and through like a DoorDash delivery, I think. And I think it was in like 1,400 locations that were trying it out. So like, I don't know if it's anywhere near where I live or like maybe you have one where you could try it out. But I think that would be pretty. I would try it out for sure, but I would be hesitant because I know that just for whatever reason, Wingstop's wings for me just don't hit as well as Buffalo Wild Wings do. They just don't. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the way that they season them or their chicken in general, but it's just they just don't hit as well as B-Dubs does. And it's a shame because I don't live near a Buffalo Wild Wings, and I drive like half an hour to get there. I do live like pretty close to a Wingstop, but unfortunately, if I want to get my wing fix on, I would just, I wouldn't even reconsider. I would just drive to B-Dubs if I really wanted wings. Like, let's just go and pay a little bit extra, but they just taste a lot better. But what would really stink, what would really be silly, is if somebody asked, do you guys have boneless thighs? I mean, that would just send me off. I would be like, no, we don't have boneless thighs. It's a thigh. There's a bone in it. Like, again, what if, though, this shortage of the wings makes it possible for there to be a boneless thigh and introduced into the world of food where we have to deal with people wanting boneless thighs? Like, I know there's, like, chicken tenders and chicken breasts. Like, I remember KFC had, like, a chicken breast, boneless chicken breast. I believe so. It was just a big chicken tender. But again, it's like, they taste good, sure, but with that bone in it, sure, you got to do a little bit of work with gnawing around the bone to get the meat out. But it's like, that bone, if you don't know, adds a ton of flavor to that meat. And when you take that away, you kind of like just strip that bone away, and you just mash up a big clump of chicken and just, have some seasoning and some breading on it. It is convenient. You don't got to worry about a bone, and you technically think that you get more meat. You kind of do, but it's like the flavor is just not all the way there unless you get, like, for some reason, I've had like tenders from like a supermarket like Save Mart. They taste really good, but I went to get KFC tenders once, and they tasted amazing. Like, I don't even know what they're putting in their tenders nowadays, but for whatever reason, they just tasted eons better than the Save Marts. And I was actually legitimately concerned. Like, what are you putting in this chicken, in this breading, in this seasoning to make it taste this good? It should not be this good. It is a chicken tender. Like, you season the meat a bit, you get a good breading and a good seasoning of the breading and all that, but it should not taste this phenomenally good. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it is, but I was just worried, like, okay, what are they putting in this? I got to be concerned about it because I wanted more after I ate it. I just wanted a lot more. I was like, this can't be a good thing. This really can't be a good thing because this is how people get, like, addicted to certain foods and addicted to, like, fast food in general is pretty freaking addicting. You get that savoriness to it, and you get, who knows what they put in their fast food burgers or whatever. Like, it could be something that's just like an additive or whatever, but it's just like got something in it that just makes people want more and more, so they keep buying it. So I would be careful and maybe stay away from KFC for a bit, because those tenders, I mean, I could not believe how good they tasted. And I was just like, there's not even that much chicken in here. It's kind of skinny. This tender is kind of thin. So I don't know what it was, but I was appalled of how good it tasted and how very little chicken that there actually was. A lot of breading too, by the way. But, that wasn't even the worst part of it. The worst part is also the chicken itself at KFC. By the way, my God, it used to be so good. How many of you actually used to want to have your parents buy you, when you were a kid, let's get a KFC meal, Mom and Dad. We'll get a bucket of chicken. We'll get some biscuits and mashed potatoes and gravy. We'll get some coleslaw, and we'll get we'll have a nice family dinner eating Kentucky Fried Chicken. Why don't we do that anymore, Mom? Well, I'll tell you this. This is my experience with it. I've noticed that the older and older I got, the KFC chicken got worse and worse. What I mean by that is, they used to have original recipe, which used to be very good, and also crispy. Like, reasonable crisp, good flaky skin, good flavor, cooked well, pretty good portions and all that. And as soon as they introduced the extra crispy, extra batter, longer, I don't know, the new extra crispy recipe, whatever. But as soon as they introduced that, the original recipe chicken just got really, really pathetic. dried, very, very greasy. The skin just kind of the fried batter just kind of fell off the chicken. There was like a thin layer of crispy skin, and it was always like very oily. Then it just kind of like made the chicken just taste like oil. And then it was just like kind of downhill from there for me. Like I just didn't want it anymore. Like I remember like actually eating it, and then it was like you know what, this just isn't as good as it used to be. It's just not as good. Also, the potatoes, they didn't change their recipe, so for some reason they just taste like styrofoam to me. Like I just cannot eat them. The gravy's okay. The biscuits are still really good, but it's like I want that chicken to be up to par with that. I want that chicken to be nice and tasty. The extra crispy is good, I will give you that, but it is more expensive. And it's at the point it's just like I don't want to have this. I don't want to have to pay extra now because now your original recipe chicken is just now trash. Like you sacrificed for extra crispy to make your original just bad. I don't want that anymore. I don't want it. Like just take out the original and just make that the original. Extra crispy. Just do that. It'd be so much easier. But it's and I remember they used to have grilled chicken too. I had that a couple times. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't KFC. KFC is Kentucky Fried Chicken. Don't change it. And I remember like they even had like they started getting desserts like cakes and all that. I was like, okay, they really want you to have like a family dinner here, like everything, like chicken, biscuits, mashed potatoes, coleslaw, corn. They added corn. Mac and cheese, by the way, is also is just extremely bad. And then they added cakes. Oreo cake, funnel cake, I think. They had like apple pies and all that. And I've never had them, but they do not look appetizing to me. They really don't. And it's also like maybe you think that it could be the location of your establishment that is not up to par, is not up to speed with other stores like around the country. You know, you always think that. It's like, but how could that be though? Because they get the same ingredients, they get the same, tools to cook the food, the ovens, whatever, the fryers. They get all the same stuff. How could it be tasting as bad? I mean, it's not like rocket science. Like people don't actually cook the food. They just like kind of like put a timer on something and then just wait for it to be done and then serve it to somebody. There's no like process of like really prepping fresh ingredients and seasoning stuff like that. Everything is pretty much like cut and dry, cut out for you to do. So it's like, is it just my location? Or is it the entire establishment that just sucks now? I have no idea, but all I would say is if you want chicken, you want a nice meal of chicken, you want it fast food, drive-through, whatever, sit down, in and out, pretty quick, I would say go to Popeyes. Because I have been to Popeyes a few times. A few very memorable times of eating their food. And it is delicious. The chicken is so crispy. It is seasoned well. It tastes good. Crispy. Good batter, good breading, everything. Tastes good. Biscuits, good. Mashed potatoes, good. Chicken sandwich, good. Everything there is good. It's just better than KFC. It really is. It's got to be that Cajun seasoning spice that just makes it everything just better. Like, there's a time where you can eat KFC and be like, you know what, this is just kind of boring. This is just plain now. It's just plain. I want some spice. I'll go to Popeyes, eat that. Let's have some Popeyes for dinner. It is delicious. It's really, really good. But you can't have too much of it. Remember what I said. You eat too much of one thing, you're like going to get bored of it. Do not ruin a good thing. Do not ruin it. If you do, you're just going to be like, oh man, what can I eat? Because the more and more we live, the days that go by, and you eat, just say like you're big on fast food. You eat fast food like every day, or not every day, but every week. You can even get bored of it once a week. Like I remember like when sometimes I would be like super poor and all that, in high school, just going to lunch and eating, going with somebody in their car to go get some food. Like you would just get burnt out on the restaurants that are near your school. It's just because the food isn't that good enough for you to keep on eating it. It's kind of just there because you're hungry. You don't want to have like you don't want to drive to McDonald's to get a breakfast McMuffin, but you're hungry, so you will. doesn't taste that good. I mean, it is good, but it's not like, worth the money in some sense. Especially because if you get one, it's like $4. If you get two, it's like $4.25. So it's like, what are we doing here? But I've always been, lately I've been trying to like kind of cut back on fast food because, shouldn't be eating it. It's really bad for you. Getting older, it's like, I don't want to like eat this every single day. So it's like, well, what do? You got to cook more. So I've been kind of trying to expand some of my cooking culinary skills. I know I haven't been like, usually I can cook some pork chops, some burgers, some steaks, some chicken. I can make a pizza. I can make I want to know how to make a good spaghetti. That way I can just make that and let's just have that for a week. Because there is no more annoying daily problem than figuring out what's for dinner. Maybe it's just because I don't know what to eat sometimes, and maybe it's just like I'm so bored of everything that's around here. It's just like you don't know what you want to eat. Like I think that whenever somebody asks you what do you want to eat, and then you say I don't know, is not as weird of a sentence or weird of a thing to think as you might think. I think it is actually kind of normal now because like think about it. You have this, and this every so often. You get tired of it pretty quickly, and then it's just like, okay, well, what are we gonna have? Like, you can't like making dinner at home is not like it's not like going out to a restaurant. You got to go buy the items. You got to go prepare for it. Maybe you have to buy something to cook it in to make that. It's a big investment. It's a big time commitment too. Like say if you wanted to make like a pizza or whatever, and you fuck up the dough badly, and then it's like, well, I just fucked up my dough. I mean, what do I do now? Well, bro, you got to eat. What are you gonna go eat? Oh, it's now fucking 8 p.m. What am I going to eat? Let's go eat McDonald's. And it's just like, gotta be prepared to make that dinner. I want to learn how to make lasagna and spaghetti, both Italian dishes. I'm a big fan of Italian food. It's so like comforting. It's so fatty. It's so warm. It's so starchy, meaty, saucy. It's just my starchy, meaty, saucy is just my. It's just my calling. It's just like what I'm made of: starch, meat, and sauce. If you think about it. It's just really, really good food. I also really love Mexican food. It's so good too. It's also saucy, meaty, depending on what you get. Starchy with tortillas. Very thick food. So good, man. I mean, I'm a big fan of just comfort food. You ever just think and sit back and like, what do I want to eat? Something that'll fill me up and make me feel warm inside. Not something so light or airy, whatever. Just something that'll make me feel like I got a big brick in my stomach that I have to just lay down after because I literally cannot do anything after that. I mean, just even now, just thinking about that, I'm just salivating because I don't know what's for dinner tonight. I got to figure that out, but it was just a little bit of food talk right there. It stemmed off of the Wingstop thing because that is an actual news story today or this week going around because... Well, again, wings are popular. Everybody loves wings, but they just don't like the right wings. Some of them just like that boneless, and it's like, bro, I don't know, man. What are you, 5, I guess? Are you 5? Jesus, man. I mean, nuggets are good. I get it. They do taste good. They get the job done, but you could be eating so much better with a traditional wing. I'm just saying. As I mentioned earlier, it was Father's Day. We went to the Seafood Boy, but before that we also saw a film. Everybody, we saw what was it called? The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, and starring Ryan Reynolds, Samuel L. Jackson, Salma Hayek, in a big action-based comedy, R-rated, bloody, violent, raunchy comedy. Fun time. I'd never seen the first one, but my father was like, hey, have you seen this? I'm like, no, I have not seen it. Well, we got to go watch the second one with me on Father's Day. I was like, okay, Dad, sure. Let's go. Let's do it. But so I enjoy Ryan Reynolds. I enjoy Samuel L. Jackson. I haven't seen a lot of movies with Salma Hayek just because some of the movies that she's in, I just haven't really wanted to watch. I'm sure she's a great actress, but I don't even know like what she's known for, like, Frida Kahlo stuff. I think I saw some of that in school. It was pretty good. But I haven't seen anything really else with her in it, really. If I go on her IMDb, I'm pretty sure like now the the movies that she's in are just like probably like more like a, I don't know, like an action movie, a comedy type thing, like a let's pull it up. She's, yeah, again, Frida. I've seen parts of it, pretty good. Desperado, never seen, made in 1995. Um, Bliss, I don't even know what that is. To be honest with you, it's with Owen Wilson, so maybe it's pretty good. I don't even like Owen Wilson either, to be honest with you. He's okay, but yeah, like a lot of movies I just have never even seen. Sausage Party, she's in that. I've seen that. I'm guessing a voice of some like taco or something like that. That's what they cast her in. I bet you. I haven't seen it, but I bet you they casted Selma Hayek as a taco in that. I bet you. Wait. I think I have seen it. I might have seen it. No, I have seen it, but I can't remember who she plays. I'm guessing she's like a taco or something. I'm guessing. It could be. You know what? Let's check it out. Selma Hayek. Where are you at? Teresa. Okay, her name's Teresa in the thing, so I'm guessing she's gonna be a taco. Let me Google it. If she is a taco and Sausage Party, I'm gonna flip out. Sausage USAGE Party. Please be a taco. Images, please. Where is she at? She's a taco. Oh my god. How did I know? I mean, like, oh my. And they even put her, like, you give her eyebrows and all that, and a bunch of eyeshadow. Oh, this is comedy gold, man. This is funny as fuck. Yeah, I was like, because I seen the movie and I was like, what is she in that? And like, okay, if Seth Rogen was a fucking hot dog, somebody else was a bun, Selma Hayek is in it. I mean, like, if they're gonna go like stereotypical like type of comedy, they're gonna make her a taco or a burrito or something. It was just obvious she's a taco. Anyway, back to the review. Okay, so Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard review. The movie is very silly. Very, very silly. Like, to the brink of, like, this is a bit too silly. But it was okay. It was fun. It's also very fun. A lot of jokes. Ryan Reynolds is definitely the comedy part of it, the comedic part. He gets a lot of funny one-liners, a lot of funny, like, situational comedy. It's very fun like that. Again, no spoilers here. I won't spoil it if you want to see it. He's got a lot of situational comedy, a lot of good comedic beats, a lot of physical comedy of like pushing and shit like that. Some people getting hurt, a lot of good, all types of comedy, really. Like, actual punchlines with a bit or somebody getting hurt. A bunch of different types of comedy. It is a comedy movie, but it is also a raunchy movie. It's also raunchy. It is rated R, so you're gonna get some fucks, some shit, some bitches. You're gonna get all that in there. It's a fun ride. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's fast. Again, Ryan Reynolds is great in it. He's very funny. The comedic role. Sam Jackson is like the badass. If you've seen the first one, he's the Hitman. So, he's good too. He's great. He's great at playing Sam Jackson, that character, that badass, that very commanding in his scenes. Selma Hayek, it was a bit of a. If you haven't seen the movie, she plays Samuel L. Jackson's wife. She's kind of just cast as a loudmouth wife type of casting. She does do a lot of fighting, which is really good, but she kind of just goes back to this loudmouth type of wife character, which I was just like, okay, is this just what it's all going to be? It's kind of weird. But she's good in the movie still. She's very good. She does get some very touching moments with Ryan Reynolds in it, and also Samuel L. Jackson. She does become one of the main characters in it, like the main plot points kind of revolves around her. She's very good at it, and it's really good. It's touching at points. It's also very violent at some points. I mean, it is rated R, so like there's blood splatters, there's guts, there's people getting stabbed, people getting shot through the head, the eye, whatever. It is very violent. But one of the main reasons I kind of didn't like it was not because of what I just said or, violent or the characters. It was just, there was a lot of cursing in it. And I know that it's rated R and it just like kind of like gives you like a free range of what you can say and whatever, but it's just like some of the jokes were just based off of cursing. And to me, like with movies like that, or with even with a stand-up comedian like that, it's just like when you curse so much, that kind of just means like you don't have a good of a joke to make somebody laugh. You just gotta cuss or say profanity to make somebody laugh, or like a dick joke or whatever like that. You just gotta throw that in there because your joke isn't that funny enough. There was a couple of parts like that I noticed. I was just like, okay, it's kind of going on a bit too long. This joke is kind of like not landing, whatever. But it's just like, and it does make it a little bit awkward. But in the end, it's a fun movie. It's something that you could go on a date with, take your family to see if they're old enough. Remember, it's rated R. It's fun to turn your brain off and just watch a fun action, raunchy, silly comedy. It's fun like that. If you're a big, if you've been watching movies for a while, like you're gonna know some of the actors that are in it. Morgan Freeman's in it. Not Javier. Antonio Banderas is in it, and like again with other three that I just said. But it is a fun movie. It is entertaining. It is funny at parts. There's a run along joke that just got me gut busted towards the end of the movie, but it was just it's fun. Fun, silly, violent, raunchy comedy. If I were to score this out of 10, I've already tweeted about it, but if you haven't seen it, I am giving it a 6.6 out of 10, so it's in the okay range. Again, it's very silly, very loud, violent, silly, raunchy. It's a decent enough score, I think. Again, the jokes could have been better. The acting, whatever. It's not going to be viewed as like this is one of the better movies I've seen in the past few. No, it's not that. But it is fun. It's fun. It's silly. And I think if you watch it and just going to see it just to have some fun with somebody, you're going to like it. You guys are going to have some fun with it. And now for everybody's favorite topic of the podcast, of the show. And this is going to be probably a longer segment today because a lot of stuff happened. A lot of things, occurred. A lot of, things that shook up the NBA world. Again, this is sports, everybody. So, let's just start with the NBA. So, playoff recap. If you don't know this, it's been a while. They've already played a few games of the conference finals. So, like, if you don't know, the Atlanta Hawks have beaten they beat the Philadelphia 76ers to move on to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they are playing the Milwaukee Bucks, who beat the Brooklyn Nets. We'll talk about that first. Those series is prior to the conference finals. So, where do we start? Okay, let's start with Philadelphia. Philadelphia. Wow. So, if you're watching this, if you've seen any of the NBA this year, you've kind of already known that Joel Embiid is like a great player. This year, in particular, he's amazing. He's big too. He's like 7 foot. He's their center. He's their scorer, their main point scorer. Pretty much every game, really. And he's got him, Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons. Doc Rivers is their coach. I mean, they got a good team. They got a great team, I would say. Probably the better team that they've had in the past maybe 5 years, I think. And they lost in 7 games to the Atlanta Hawks, who have Nate McMillan as their head coach, who's, for me, just shining bright. This guy has just got that team under control. The trust levels are through the roof. He's just got everybody performing at a high level. They are fun to watch, man. And Trae Young is balling out, by the way. If you don't know, point guard Trae Young is like maybe a 3rd or 4th year in the league. Maybe 4th or 3rd. He came out with Luka Doncic. He's a great point guard. He's fantastic, though. He's a scorer. Last night he just scored like 48 points, I think, maybe 49. This guy is unbelievably talented and unbelievably hated also at the same time. His character, his personality is amazing for the NBA because you need somebody out there to be the villain, depending on who you are. For him, he's already made villains, enemies with the Knicks, the 76ers. Pretty much anybody he's going to play, he's going to make it like a rivalry or an actual like enemies with fans, with players. It's just what he's doing for the NBA is so much. It makes it so much fun to watch because now you get to see storylines development, people, fans development within the play with the players. and just see like how this is gonna all shake up. Because like this is why I watch sports. Because like these things, the rivalries are just, it's so nice to see this back. And especially with somebody like Trae Young who eggs players on and eggs fans on. It is just so fun to see how much like people will go crazy because of this one player. And it's Trae Young, man. I mean, like he lit up every night he played consistently good. There were some nights where he shot a little too much, but he didn't score as much. But at least he did shoot. You know, he tried to score the basket. He played along with his team, Clint Capella. I'm forgetting their names, but somebody Hunter. They're really, really good. But like that guy is just like the glue for that team. But he's also the scorer on that team. I mean, that guy is not afraid. I'll just say it right here, right now. This kid is not afraid to go at anybody, and it shows. And like, they just beat the Bucks last night for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. But I mean, he is cunning. He's got that killer instinct that just wants to score, get in your face, and cause you problems in the game. It's so much fun to watch. And it's like what I've been missing out of the NBA is just like, because you always get like a LeBron James, Steph Curry, that rivalry, if you can even call that. It's not that big of a rivalry. I mean, like Steph isn't like a guy that's gonna like, chomp at somebody or bark at anybody to, a fan base or whatever. He's not that type of player. But Trae Young, the emergence of Trae Young's personality, this whole playoffs has just been great for basketball. I gotta say it, man. As much as I don't care about Atlanta basketball, I mean, they kind of surprised me getting there this far this year. So it is like I'm kind of new to Trae Young at this point. Like I know he's been in the league for a while, but it's like now I'm getting to see Trae Young on a national level, like competing to get to the finals. So it's like it's very, very good to see. It's fun to see. It's good for the NBA. It's great for the NBA. I'm pretty sure that Adam Silver would have wanted the finals to the Eastern Conference Finals to be Philadelphia and Brooklyn. I have no doubt about that. Bigger markets, more eyes on TV ratings. Just a bigger Eastern Conference rivals, Brooklyn, Philadelphia. It would have been better for the league and for the ratings. I think it would have because now you got Milwaukee and Atlanta. I'm just saying that that's not going to be a good series. That those teams deserved it. They did, but like I'm sure that Adam Silver's thinking like, dude, we could have had Brooklyn, Philadelphia, 1 seed, 2 seed, KD versus Joel Embiid. We could have had that. I guarantee you he wanted that, but he didn't get it. So it's like we'll see. We'll just see how those go. But I want to get back to the Philadelphia 76ers again. So I kind of wanted to absolutely blame this all on Doc Rivers. I did. If you've been watching the NBA for the past decade, Doc Rivers has had like one good playoff run with Boston in 2008. One. And they beat the Lakers and for the championship. They've had one good run, him as a head coach. Besides that, I mean, he's been pretty like out-coached. Last year he was with the Clippers. They blew a 3-1 lead to the Dallas Mavericks. Not the Mavericks, the Nuggets. The Nuggets, sorry. The Nuggets. It's like, dude, what are you doing? What is going on? And it's not just that, too. Like, even before that, when he was with the Clippers, they could not get over the hump. They didn't even get to the Western Conference Finals once when he was coaching there. Not once. Ty Lue comes in and they're already in there. Ty Lue over Doc Rivers? Are you kidding? So, like, it's like, what's going on with this guy? I would always blame him. Every time. And I kind of do this time, too. A bit. But not as much as I blame Ben Simmons. No way, no how. No way can I blame that guy, Doc, as much as I blame Ben Simmons. No way. I mean, the process might be done. No. It should be done. But it probably won't be because I don't think anybody would want Ben Simmons. Here's what I'll say. Ben Simmons is a 6'10", 240-pound point guard. Should have been the next coming of Magic Johnson. Maybe even LeBron James. Giant player, 24 years old, fit as hell, talented defensively, could shut down Trae Young a couple games. He's good defensively on the ball. But this guy just doesn't want to score the basketball in a basketball game. And he's a point guard. Now, Alex, you might say, well, Alex, that's not his game. He doesn't have a jump shot. He sucks at free throws. He doesn't shoot the ball well. Well, then there's your problem. You can't play him. You shouldn't play him. In this day and age, the NBA is not going to be defensively focused. In this day and age of the NBA, you've got to be able to make shots. You have to be able to make your own shot. Watching it for the past decade, and maybe even more, you just know that everybody in the league, everybody on the team, can take a shot. This man, Ben Simmons, cannot. For the life of him. I mean, the last game he gave up a dunk. He just gave up a dunk because he didn't want to get fouled. It's already come to the conclusion that this guy just doesn't want to go to the rim because if he gets fouled and has to shoot free throws, he can't make them. Like, this guy is just, he's broken, I think. He really is. And you're like, Alex, well, this has been happening for years. Yes, it has. And they've kept him in Philadelphia to try to fix him. But clearly they have not fixed him. Clearly nothing's worked. Clearly they have to get rid of him, but they probably can't. Because now he's going to be a liability, like, oh, he can't shoot. Every team's going to be like, oh, we can fix Ben Simmons. We can fix him. But it's like, if Philadelphia have been trying for years to fix him, what makes you think that you can? They have Doc Rivers. They have Joel Embiid on their team. Tobias Harris. And he just doesn't want to shoot. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to dunk. He's 6'10", doesn't want to dunk. He misses bad layups, bad open shots. There's no confidence there. So you're thinking, Alex, can you really blame Ben Simmons on this entire loss? Yes, you can. I know it's a team sport. I get that. It is a team sport. But if you're number 2 team, if you're like the number 2, let's say Joel Embiid is number 1. Ben Simmons is number 2. And you score 5 points in that final game. 5 points only? In game 7, you got to win it. You have to win or you're out. There was just no urgency. There was no life. He looks dead out there. Emotionless, like, oh, okay, yeah, it's just a thing. Yeah, well, we'll get better next year. But are you, dude? People have been talking about Ben Simmons for like 3 or 4 years. This is a problem with him. This is a problem. And it hasn't gotten any better. 3 years, man. 3 years. When are you just going to cut the cord and say, like, this is over? We cannot continue to do this. We cannot continue to do this because this is just hurting our team. And nobody wants to say it because nobody wants to be like, nobody wants to throw our player under the bus, but it's like, we kind of have to now. You got to throw him under the bus. Because, like, this is not acceptable. Philadelphia's not going to accept this. The fans are not going to accept this. So it's like, you got to figure out, like, what's going to happen now. If I was there in Philadelphia, I would get rid of him. I would try to. Even though he's owed a ton of money from Philadelphia. Boy, I mean, like, you think about it, like, why would they even give him that kind of contract? He can't even shoot the ball. And there's always glimpses of him he can do in the regular season. The very first game or two, he shoots a 3 and makes it. It's like, oh, yeah, Ben Simmons can shoot. Well, he clearly can't now. It turns off after a while. I mean, the guy couldn't even dunk the ball. That's a big problem. That's a huge problem. You got players shorter than Ben Simmons dunking the ball in traffic and succeeding and shooting the free throw after that. So there's got to be a change soon. Again, I don't want to blame it all on him. I really, really don't. But if you go back at the games that they lost, check out his stats. He's like in single digits, and he barely shoots in the fourth quarter. So it's like, dude, when you're needed, you just kind of go away. Sure, you can block a shot or give an assist, but you're a force, dude. You're not like Chris Paul. You're not expected to dunk and to be able to get a shot off on a tall player. You're fucking huge. You can create your own shot. You're 6'10", dude. What are you doing? So they lost to the Hawks, deservedly. I mean, like, that was a shitty performance. It was a bad team effort. Again, it is a team sport, but you got to look at the glaring issue. Ben Simmons is that glaring issue. Yeah, Doc Rivers made some decisions that didn't make any sense. Resting Joel Embiid in the fourth quarter when they were up by like 30. I get it. I would have done the same thing. But it's like, you got to be able to do it with Ben out there. Again, if he is your number 2 and Joel is out on the bench resting, you got to have a force out there to help, score the ball. That's why they have LeBron and AD in LA. When LeBron's out, they have AD in there. Just be like the new captain, the second captain. Because AD is probably better at basketball than LeBron James is, but like LeBron James is going to be the leader of that team. They don't have that in Philadelphia. They can't do that. They can't rest Joel and have the same type of offensive, presence with Ben on there. It's just not existent. You got Tobias Harris, but it's like, is he really like athletically better than Ben Simmons? I don't know. Possibly, maybe. Do you make him the number 2? But they have different positions. He's a point guard. Ben Simmons is handling the ball. And if he's handling it with fear, like, I can't shoot, here, take it. It's just like, what kind of leader is that? In today's NBA, you can't have that. You cannot have that. You're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to win anything. You're not going to be feared. You're also not going to have many people looking at you to trade for you. I mean, everybody was talking about this. Like, Charles Barkley said it the best, like, who is going to pick this guy up? Who wants this guy? I'm sure we'll be like, people would want to be like, yeah, we can fix him. Yeah, sure, we'll take him. Really, though? I mean, like, he's been having these type of performances in the playoffs when games are on the line. I mean, he just scored 5 points in the last game. In Game 7, he scored 5 points. It's not looking very good. I'll just say it like that. It's not looking good if he wants to trade. I know he says he's a big Philly guy and wants to stay with Philly and win with Philly, but it's like, I don't know, man. It's getting kind of close. I mean, we've already seen like this for 3 years now. Nothing's changed. It's the same questions every year too. Have you got a jump shot? And it's like, forget jump shot. Can you even like make a layup in the paint? Will you? Will you try to put your body on the line to get a free throw? Or are you too afraid to do that too? Are you so bad at free throws that you shooting the ball in general, you can't even do that? You're just scared now. Personally, I would not sign him because I don't want to try to fix him. I get he's an immense talent. He's 6'10", he's 240, 24 years old. I get it. Everything that I just said is such a big bonus to sign him. I get it. But I don't know, man. It's just some players just can't learn it. They just don't learn it. But it's the thing that they knew that he wasn't a scorer in college. They knew he can score the ball in college, so it's like, I mean, like, if you drafted him to fix him, like, it's not working. It's just not working. So they lose. Game 7, everybody's, Philly fans are just going insane. A bunch of tweets trending trade Ben, like, who's going to pick him up again? Nobody, I think. But also, like, that wasn't the biggest, I would say, flop. The biggest fail in the NBA this past week. No. I would say that the Brooklyn Nets losing to the Milwaukee Bucks was a bigger fail, I think. In certain ways, it wasn't, but you looking at that team right now, that roster with Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Blake Griffin, all them, Joe Harris, whatever. The list goes on and on and on. But if you look at that team, what happened? Well, they were up 2-0 to Milwaukee. They were winning. James Harden gets hurt. Hamstring injury. Those injuries, from what I can gain from watching the NBA, I have no medical experience at all. Nothing. I know nothing about a hamstring. I know that I have them, but that's about it. But those always seem to be like the most nagging injuries that could just like wreck your entire season. You feel good one day. You got the injury like maybe a few weeks ago. You're testing it out. You're running on it. You're cutting on it, exploding off of it and all that. And then just like, just after like a short sprint, boom, hurts again. strain again, whatever it is. It kicks you out of it makes you sit on the bench for a while. So then, it's like, well, that's going to be like a big problem if he's got a hamstring injury. Like, this is probably not going to be, he might not be back for the series or for the rest of the season. Who knows? But he comes back and he's like, kind of like, struggling to get it. People were saying like he's playing on one leg. He's not 100%. He's not very, comfortable out there. And it's like, I do get it, but also Kyrie Irving is out with a high ankle sprain or high ankle injury. It's like, that's also a really bad injury to come back from, like, in such a short amount of time. But it's like, all that, still, these guys could not win. And I don't blame, like, everybody on that team. I don't blame KD. I don't blame Steve Nash. I don't blame anybody. The injuries do happen. They do mount up. And they were just bad timing injuries. Like, no one expected Kyrie or Kevin or James to go out like this in this stage of the playoffs. Nobody wanted that. And it's just unfortunate. And, like, Kevin Durant, did everything that he possibly could to will his team back, but he just ran out of gas, I would say. I mean, he's just like, you can't do everything. It is a team sport, and I get it. Like, he's like the best player on the team right then and there, because, again, James Harden's in the game, but he's not doing much. I mean, he's on one leg, basically. So I don't blame, like, I wouldn't say, it is a fail. I mean, if you would ask me, did they fail? Yes, they failed. They should have been in the finals. They should have been in the NBA finals. They should have been, but they didn't get there. But all the credit goes to Milwaukee. Giannis woke up. Chris Middleton woke up. Everybody woke up and said, like, you know what? We can actually beat these guys. And they did. I mean, like, they threw their punches. They could have won in Game 6, but they blew it, and they like, okay, we'll go to Game 7. And they almost won. They were like a fraction away on the 3-point line, but it was just, they gave it everything that they had. And not to be like laughing in a joking way, but it's just like, damn, man, like, after all that, you kind of just have to laugh, like, be like, we tried everything. We tried. Like, don't be like, we failed, we miserably failed. Even though you did fail, you just kind of like have to, like, next year, we'll try it again next year. We'll try to get better, get healthy, and get everybody back in, and just try to go at it again. That's all you can do. There really is all you can do. So, like, I don't blame everybody on that team. I don't blame anybody. They all tried. They all gave it their best shot. It's not like nobody's Ben Simmons on that team. Maybe Joe Harris, but, like, missing a bunch of shots, and, like, I get it, but, like, they had so many opportunities to win it. It's like, come on, man. Not a bad thing, but it's like, Jesus, man. Imagine if we did get Philadelphia, Brooklyn. I mean, the NBA would have loved that. Adam Silver would have been like, yeah, baby, we got it. But it's like, what can you do, man? What can you do? It's just unlucky. Was it because of a COVID year and everybody had to, play basketball on a such short turn after the 2020 season? Maybe. Maybe everybody was just tired. Maybe everybody was just like, whew, man, we just finished it like in October. We got to get ready to go back in December for Christmas time. It's like, maybe that was it. Maybe the injuries were just too much. Maybe it was just this or that. There's a lot of factors in that, but all I can say is the team that is just surprising me so much, I've already talked about them a bit, is just Atlanta. Again, they have no all-stars on that team, and they're just wrecking shop. Also, we also got to get to the Western Conference, because I'm talking about the East a lot, but, like, again, the Suns and the Hawks are just surprising me so much. So much. The Suns beat the Nuggets in 4. And then who are they playing? The Clippers beat the Jazz in 6, I think. Maybe 7. I don't know. But it's Clippers and the Suns. Now, initially, I would have been like, okay, the Clippers got this. But since Kawhi Leonard's injury is still preventing him from playing, and he's already been ruled out for Game 3, like, ruled out, like, he cannot play. And it was a right knee injury. I'm thinking that it might be his ACL that's blown out. I remember seeing tweets about it, like on Twitter, like saying like they're fearing that it could be an ACL and that he could be out for the season, but they're hoping that it's not. He got injured on June 14th. It's already June 24th. And no updates, no nothing on what it is. What's injured? What happened? Is it sprain? Is it a tear? Is it whatever? Nothing on that. So I can only guess that his ACL is blown out. ACL is blown out. It's got to be blown out. Blown out. So if his ACL is out, then he just can't play. And then I think that the Clippers might be done because the Suns just look really, really good. They're already up 2-0 to them. I don't think that anybody's going to... Chris Paul's coming back from the COVID protocol, so I don't think anybody really stands a chance against the Suns, really. I mean, even though their teams like Booker, Paul, Ayton, they just look really, really well together. Monty Williams is doing a fantastic job coaching that team because last year they were the laughing stock of the NBA. They were the worst team last year. Now they have potentially become the best team this year. So it's like, I'm really happy about that. I'm happy that it's not like a team that's, the Lakers, the Warriors, the Celtics or whatever, not like a big market team. All the teams that are pretty much left are the Clippers, Phoenix, the Phoenix Suns, Atlanta Hawks, and then the Milwaukee Bucks. 3 low market teams and 1 big market team. So, and it looks like it could be, if the Suns do advance, it will be small market versus small market team, potentially, which is going to be weird because it's going to be cool, though, because those teams earned it. They qualified. They clearly beat the other teams to get there. So it's like, it's going to be fun, but it's also going to be weird in the ratings. Like, we're going to see, like, bad ratings. I'm still going to watch them, though, because it's sports, but I'm just curious to see, like, when that goes down and when it happens, the finals, like, what are they gonna say? Like, the ratings are just gonna be down, or are they just gonna be like, hey man, ratings are good? Maybe they will be good, who knows? Maybe because there's not gonna be LeBron or Steph Curry or like a bigger team, maybe just without LeBron might drag people back into watch the NBA. We'll see, because I believe that firmly there was a LeBron James fatigue these past few years, because he's pretty much in every finals. He won last year's. The year before that he didn't win. He wasn't even in the playoffs, I think. But the year before that in Cleveland, he was like, obviously pretty much in them every single year. Then with the Heat, same thing. It's like, we've had so much LeBron James like in the finals. It's like, we need a break, and this is our break. And it's like, with a break with small market teams, it's like, whoa, this is kind of cool. Like, who thought Phoenix was this good? Like, if you haven't watched the NBA much, you're like, who's in it? Who's left? Phoenix is in it. Oh, Phoenix? They're good? Like, yeah, man, they're really good. Like, that kind of might just draw some eyes in for the ratings. I don't know, man. I think that it's going to be a good finals. I think it's going to be like a scrappy finals. Scrappy, passionate finals, because there's passion all the time. Like, the Miami Heat last year were, like, probably the more passionate team compared to the LA Lakers. But, like, I feel like if you get like Phoenix versus Atlanta, that's just going to be a big, big, scrappy games, passionate games, back and forth games, fun games, just like really like gritty basketball type games. I would love to see that, because I think that the NBA has gotten very, very soft. And I think that those teams just play like very rough and gritty, that it'll make it so that it actually feels like they're playing to win something for once, and that they don't like each other, and that they're like willing to put their bodies on the line to win the championship. I just feel like with those teams, even Milwaukee, man, Milwaukee can do it too, and so can the Clippers. I'm just saying, like, all these 4 teams that are left playing all have like an attitude and all have like that grit to make like these finals just like really, really fun to watch. I hope that's the truth, because like if they're not, like, you're not going to see like LeBron James like diving for balls like he used to back in the day. I mean, come on. He's older. He's definitely won some rings already. None of these players, like Giannis hasn't won one, Trae hasn't won one, Chris Paul hasn't won one. Only person who's won one is Kawhi Leonard on the Clippers, but he might be out for the season. So all these teams have a chance to win their first championship, basically. All these star players have their first opportunity to win a championship for the first time. So I would assume that this is going to be like a really, really rough finals no matter what. But I'm excited. I want to see it. I can't wait. It's going to be nice. It's going to be fun. It's going to be different. It's going to be fresh. I wanted that. We don't need so much LeBron and Steph Curry. We don't need all that. Give me this. I know that Adam Silver, and for me, personally, I was like thinking like, I would love to see the Nets and the 76ers. I would like to see that because, again, those teams are also very, very good too. And scrappy and with a lot of personality, a lot of character, a lot of passion. But for me, if I look back on this, what we got today, who's left, this might be better. This might be the best one. This might be actually worth watching. It's got like not many divas, not many big, gigantic egos. We just got teams that play together well, that they play for each other, that are coached well. This might be the best actual Eastern and Western Conference Finals and then potential finals that we've had in a while. If you think about it, if you take into all those factors of what I just said, this could be the best one. It really could. I'm hoping it is. I really want it to be great. I want it to be fun, entertaining. Let's hope it is good, and we'll see, man, because, again, these playoffs have not disappointed, even though I wanted Brooklyn to go all the way because I like Kevin Durant and all that, but I'm not saying that it is going to be a bad finals. I really don't think it can be with the teams that we got left. I really don't. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for watching. It means a lot to me. This is still really, really fun. I enjoy it so much. Again, if you can go to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify, rate and review on Apple Podcasts. I really appreciate that. Leave me a DM on ADSilva005 on Twitter and Instagram. Do that. Leave a comment on YouTube. Leave a like. Leave a subscribe on YouTube. And you can follow all that like and subscribe and all that at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva, and I will see you guys next week.